Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshi Chanza. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 24th of November. India's Union Cabinet clears bill to repeal 3 contentious farm laws. Taliban released media guidelines ban shows with female actors. And Sri Lanka rows back on organic farming goal, removes ban on chemical fertilizers. And now for all the details. India's Union Cabinet on Wednesday approved the Farm Laws Repeal Bill 2021, completing the formalities to revoke the 3 controversial farm laws in the upcoming winter session of the Parliament from November 29. The farmers have welcomed the move but warned their year-long agitation against the legislation would continue until their other demands, including a law on guaranteed prices for all crops, are addressed. India's Union Cabinet on Wednesday approved the Farm Laws Repeal Bill 2021, completing the formalities to revoke the 3 contentious farm laws which triggered a year of protest by farmers. This came after Prime Minister Narendra Modi on November 19 announced that the government will take back the laws introduced in 2020 in Parliament's upcoming winter session. Though the legislation was introduced for the benefit of the farmers, the government failed to explain the benefits to them, the Prime Minister admitted.
We have completed the formalities to repeal the farm laws, and in the upcoming session, it will be our priority to repeal the 3 farm laws in the upcoming session.
Though the farmer community welcomed the move, their leaders have warned their agitation would continue until the government promised to introduce a law on minimum support price or MSP, guaranteeing minimum prices for all crops.
ये जीत कहाँ, ये तो वे लेकर आए थे, वो संघर्ष हुआ, उन्होंने वापसी ले लिए। जीत तो किसान की जब होगी जब उनको फसलों के दाम मिल जाएंगे।
Currently, the government mainly buys rice and wheat at minimum support price, but the safety net benefits barely 6% of India's millions of farmers. Withdrawal of a draft electricity bill, which threatens to cut subsidized power for irrigation and penalties against stubble burning, are also some of the remaining demands farmer leaders say. And news from Pakistan. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has said that the growing foreign debt and low tax revenue have become an issue of national security because his government does not have enough resources to spend on people's welfare. He said the country's very sustainability was at stake because of the absence of a tax culture.
Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan on Tuesday said that the rising foreign debt and low tax revenue had become an issue of national security because his government did not have enough resources to spend on people's welfare. Inaugurating the track and trace system of the Federal Bureau of Revenue for the sugar industry in Islamabad, PM Khan said the country's very sustainability was at stake because of the absence of a tax culture, and he hoped use of technology would take revenue collection to rupees 8 trillion annually.
सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम यह है कि हमारे पास उतना पैसा नहीं है अपने मुल्क को चलाने के लिए, और जिसकी वजह से हमें कर्जे लेने पड़ते हैं। और ये हमने जो एक जिस तरह घर भी किसी का हो, अगर घर के अंदर आपके खर्चे ज़्यादा और आपकी आमदनी कम है, वो घर मुश्किलात में पड़ा ही रहेगा।
Meanwhile, IMF, the International Monetary Fund, which has agreed to revive a $6 billion funding program with Pakistan, has rejected Islamabad's request to keep a door open for borrowing from the State Bank of Pakistan, reports suggest. This comes as Finance Minister Shaukat Tareen had earlier said the terms and conditions of the IMF program had been made harder, with reforms including withdrawal of tax exemptions and increased energy tariffs.
Moving on. Residents in Pakistan-administered Kashmir have claimed the frequent price hike of gas and food items in recent days has adversely affected their lives. They have slammed Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan for failing to control the rising inflation, which has made survival of the poor extremely difficult.
Amid an unprecedented price hike of gas and essential food items, residents living in Muzaffarabad in Pakistan-administered Kashmir have claimed that it has adversely affected them and have slammed Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan for rising inflation. They said that the frequent price hike has jumbled up the budget of the marginalized, making survival difficult. They claim that they are struggling to buy even basic domestic needs.
ज़िंदगी के आने वाले मामलात में बहुत परेशानी हो रही है गरीब आदमी के लिए खासकर ऐसा जो अभी भाई ने बताया कि 2500 रुपये का सिलेंडर हो गया उसमें गरीब आदमी क्या करेगा गवर्नमेंट को बहुत चाहिए इससे कंट्रोल करे हालात वक़ियात पे गरीब आदमियों पे तरस खाए.
Meanwhile, according to a latest report by research company IPSOS Pakistan or Consumer Confidence Index, 43% of Pakistans consider inflation as the biggest problem of the country. The report stated 46% were clear that the country's economic condition is weak, while 64% said they don't see any hope of improvement. The issue of inflation has also triggered protests in recent days, with the opposition parties demanding snap elections to rid the people of what they term as illegitimate and incompetent rulers.
In news from Afghanistan, the Taliban administration has released a set of restrictions on Afghan media, including banning television dramas that included female actors and ordering women news presenters to wear Islamic hijab or headscarf. Some edicts were targeted specifically at women, a move likely to raise concerns among the international community.
Afghanistan's Ministry of Vice and Virtue has released a set of restrictions on Afghan media, including banning television dramas that included female actors and ordering women news presenters to wear Islamic hijab or headscarf. The ministry set out 9 rules this week, a Taliban administration spokesman said on Tuesday, largely centered on banning any media that contravened Islamic or Afghan values. Some edicts were targeted specifically at women, a move likely to raise concerns among the international community. International rights watchdog Human Rights Watch criticized the rules and said media freedom was deteriorating in the country. Though Taliban officials have sought to publicly assure women and the international community that women's rights will be protected since they took over Afghanistan on August 15, many advocates and women have remained skeptical. Kabul residents say the first 100 days after the Taliban takeover had been difficult, expressing ongoing concerns about security and girls' education.
روز به این خاطر به ما مشکل گذشت که ما معاش نداشتیم و دیگه ای که امنیت درست نبود هنوز هم انتحاری میشه ما به تشویش هستیم دیگه اولادای ما هنوز هم دخترها به مکتب نمیرن درس نیست.
The United Nations has repeatedly warned since the Taliban took over that Afghanistan's economy is on the brink of a collapse that would likely further fuel a refugee crisis. Meanwhile, State Department spokesperson Ned Price said on Tuesday that the U.S. Special Representative for Afghanistan, Tom West, will visit Doha next week for 2 weeks of meetings with leaders of the Taliban. An abrupt withdrawal of most foreign development support after the Taliban seized power has sent the economy into freefall.
Bangladesh's envoy to India, Mohammad Imran, on Wednesday lauded the role played by Indian political and military leadership in his country's 1971 liberation war during an event in New Delhi. This year is of special significance as both India and Bangladesh celebrate 50 years of diplomatic relations, coinciding with the Golden Jubilee of Liberation of Bangladesh and the birth centenary of its founder, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
Bangladesh's High Commissioner to India, Mohammad Imran, on Wednesday lauded the role played by Indian political and military leadership in his country's 1971 Liberation War. Attending a book release event in New Delhi by Indian Army's think tank Center for Land Warfare Studies, the envoy underscored Bangladesh has tried to maintain cordial relations with India after the Liberation War, despite outstanding issues and changes in the democratic polity in Dhaka. Indian Army Chief General M.M. Naravne also praised the Bangla leaders who fought with the Indian Army to get an independent Bangladesh following a 9-month-long war in 1971 against Pakistan.
Therefore, about for 2 millennium or even more, we worked hand to hand with the rest of the today's South Asian nations, including India, sharing common political and administrative system, culture and traditions, faith and social practices, and joys and sorrows.
The year 2021 is of special significance as both countries celebrate 50 years of diplomatic relations, which also coincide with the Golden Jubilee of Liberation of Bangladesh and the birth centenary of Banga Bandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
Moving on to news from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka rowed back on its goal to become the first country to fully adopt organic farming on Wednesday by removing the ban on use and importation of chemical fertilizers after months of mass protests by farmers and a surge in food price inflation. The government had completely banned chemical fertilizers when it unveiled a new agricultural policy in April. Explaining the U-turn at a weekly cabinet briefing, Agriculture Minister Mahinda Nanda Aludgamage said only the private sector would be allowed to resume imports, which would still be expensive as a subsidy for chemical fertilizers would not be reinstated. The ban on all chemical fertilizer was implemented on April 26, prompting thousands of furious farmers to join streets demanding the government adopt a hybrid policy to allow both organic and chemical fertilizer. The chemical fertilizer ban combined with bad weather contributed to inflation hitting a 47-month high of 8.3% in October as food inflation rose to 11.7% amid falling crop yields. Sri Lanka has more than 2 million farmers and up to 70% of its 22 million population is directly or indirectly dependent on agriculture. The two-day monastic festival, popularly known as Thikse Gustor in India's Himalayan desert of Ladakh, saw a grand religious ceremony attended by monks, devotees and tourists. The festival, which is celebrated over a course of 2 days, concluded on Tuesday with mass dance, traditional rituals, colorful costumes and cheering visitors. The Thikse Gustor festival, celebrated in Thikse Monastery in India's northern Ladakh territory belonging to the Gelugpa sect of Tibetan Buddhism, saw hundreds of devotees and tourists descend to witness the event. The main attraction of the festival were monks attired in traditional outfits performing colorful mass dances on rhythmic beats of religious musical instruments, demonstrating the victory of good over evil. In Tibetan language, the meaning of the word Gustor is sacrifice. The festival is marked by different kinds of rituals, ceremonies, folk music and traditional dances.
कि जितने भी हमारा प्रॉब्लम्स का रूप जो है हमारा सेल्फ ड्रेसिंग और सेल्फ स्ट्रेसिंग होते हैं, इसकी वजह से हमारे नाना प्रकार का दुख हुआ करते हैं। तो इसकी वजह से भिक्षु मंक्स यहाँ पूजा भी किया करते हैं, साथ ही साथ एक लिंगा के रूप में पूरा जो हमारे दुखों है, जो उसका दुख का कारण है, वो पूरा आग में डाला जाता है। इसका मकसद यही है।
Locals believe that this festival protects people from natural disasters, accidents and other calamities and brings prosperity and harmony. Tourists who had come to witness the festival were extremely happy with their experiences.
Thikse Monastery, I have came here to see this tradition. It was a very nice place to visit here. Very good environment, good people are there. This was very first time I have seen here. This was very good. The tradition was very good.
The two-day festival concluded on Tuesday with mass dance, traditional rituals and cheering visitors. Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. India's Union Cabinet clears bill to repeal 3 contentious farm laws. Taliban released media guidelines ban shows with female actors. And Sri Lanka rows back on organic farming goal, removes ban on chemical fertilizers. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/IsAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @IsAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good